Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Doing a little cards and coffee. I'm going to keep this stuff on the Witch's Tower because this is where I get a little bit more personal about me and it's not so much for the collective, all right? It is, but it isn't. This is for the true 143, right? Those have been with me for a while. So I thought it would be fun to bust out some pictures. Now, I've shared these on Facebook before, but I didn't really give any of the stories or anything behind them. So if anybody ever wondered who Loony Luna is, that's her right there. And this is our girl Andrea that we used to hang out with. And that is me. Now, this picture was taken during Hurricane Isabel in Virginia Beach. We had driven, I believe, like about an hour in state to take showers and go to an open Walmart because we had been pretty much living off of the bar for about a week at this point. People were washing themselves in the giant sink in the back. It was the only place that had a generator that was open and was running its kitchen. So that's where we all were. And we had drove all the way up there to visit a friend to go do that. And then we took this picture. And it reminds me of that Nickelback song, you know. Look at this photograph. What the hell is on their heads? That's pretty much it. And I say Luna has been my best friend since I was 13 years old. It's absolutely crazy to think, right? And now, I met her. This picture was taken after the fact, so I'm about to go back into the 90s because I'm going to go over some of my exes with y'all, because the big message, by the way, I'm grinding up some Palo Santo here to put on my charcoal tab. A big message I've been getting lately, and this is a big thing, especially for the women that I've been reading for and stuff like that, is nerves. Like, everybody's so nervous, right? This whole thing tends to happen to us. As you get older, you get more self-conscious. Why? Why? Because how many of us still look like this from the 90s? My teeth don't even look the same. My gap came back. I didn't have a gap in this picture. I mean, and that is shit. You know. And I will also add in that one of the hardest pills for me to swallow is, and those of you that were on the ride with me, is I did actually get to my goal weight. Oh, shit, about a year or so ago, right? And when I did, you know, you realize you got some loose skin. Because when I got big, I got up to about 220 pounds, right? And I found out that it costs just as much to remove loose skin as it would have just to have gotten fucking liposuction. Some harsh shit, right? That's some harsh shit. What? Oh, man. Congratulations. Now you look good with clothes on, but off. It's a whole new, different type of horror show. Everything everybody's got to deal with. We all have lumps, bumps, bruises, skin, you name it, right? Get some Palo Santo going. Alright, so let's dive into a little bit of fun here, right? That was my very, very first boyfriend. Well, not my first boyfriend. My first boyfriends, you know, were whatever. This is my first R-rated boyfriend. I'll put it that way, right? This is the one that, yeah, first one. So it got me thinking about like how everybody's always so nervous about those first times and things like that. Especially if you're not just going to a bar and being like fucking Jersey Shore and me, oh, DTF, DTF. Shit's so fucking stupid. I hated that fucking show, by the way. Be mindful of any guy who ever idolized Pauly, for sure. But I just distinctly remember that the first time didn't really happen. Why? Things escalated too quickly, too fast, nothing happened, right? And you know, that's happened anytime it was real. Anytime anything was real, it was always just so nerve-wracking that for one reason or the other, either too drunk, too fast, too nervous, just couldn't maintain. It never really happened the first time, right? Not with anybody who was really serious. Definitely not with him, and not with my two husbands, right? Both of them experienced performance issues. So it's like, you know, for ladies, as much as you beat yourself up about your looks, they're beating themselves up too. I'm telling you, they got their own little horror stories, right? We got here, the Space Cowboys. So now, that was Virginia back to New York, back to Virginia here. Within my life, there's always been two types of men, right? There's the ones that I've dated, and then there's the ones that I didn't really date. It was very, very strange. Like, I don't know. They were always together. We hung out all the time. Yeah. There was Brian. There was Chris in high school that I was always hanging out with. And this is in Virginia. This is our boy Ian. We like to giggle about him because he ran off at one point. He quit his job at the car wash and he ran off to Vegas to be an underwear model. So it's a big joke for me and Luna on that one. Especially over the last few years. A lot has been brought up to remind us of Ian, right? Which is normal. Like, people say that you can't have platonic friends. You totally can. Now, these two, if you can't tell, were total lunatics. That's actually Luna's oldest child's father. And for all the work and nightmares that she went through with him, they didn't end up together. But they have spent time where she's gone with her boyfriend now, his son, her new son from her previous relationship, not even with this boyfriend, her baby daddy, the oldest one's baby daddy, his second main girl, and his kids with her, and they'll all go to the beach and have a great time, right? All right. Who we got here? Oh, this is my nephew, Damien, when he was about 2. He's about 22 now. He's about 20 years ago at this point. And that is Derek. Derek was a Navy guy that I met in A school in Virginia. We dated for several months, several months. It was a while. I mean, it had to have been a while because he got deployed a couple times, right? So he came home from a deployment and he was going back to, shit, what the hell was he from? Minnesota or something ridiculous, right? And when he came back, he broke up with me because he told me that he had gone home to marry his pregnant fiance. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, right? I'm still friends with him on Facebook, ironically enough. He was best friends with my sister's daughter's dad, right? Just gonna go through some hellscapes with you guys for a little bit, right? You know, things don't always work out the way you seem. I mean, you can feel like you're totally in love with somebody and have no idea what's going on. Ooh, who do we got here? All right, so this is actually at the bar that we all hung out at. I'm gonna do a 3D, 4D, 5D timeline here too for everybody. This was Ryan. I was accused of sleeping with his brother. Let's see, I don't even know why we broke up. Oh, well, probably because I was accused of sleeping with his brother. That was before that. He got banned from the bar that we hung out at, right? So this is a picture where we're both at the bar. We're both 19. And he wasn't allowed to hang out at the bar anymore. They changed the rules that it was 18 and up for women and 21 and up only for men. They say it's a strip club, but it's Virginia. You got to wear tops and bottoms, so it's just pretty much like a go-go bar. Anyway. Yeah. We dated for a while. I distinctly remember one time, like, he wouldn't get up for work, and there was a big fight, and I managed to line him up a ride and everything else. Luna came and took him to work and everything else like that. I mean, he was just so nasty with me. And he called later and apologized. Just a random memory of that. But I will tell you, years later, I went to Virginia to visit Luna. It was before, I think Might have been dating my first husband at this point, but I'm not sure. Anyway, we went up there, and his brother's girlfriend called me and asked me if I wanted to do a threesome with his brother and her. She said because I had slept with him before. And I had to be like, no, I didn't. No, I never slept with, you know, I dated Ryan. Why would I sleep with his older brother? That's just weird, right? And it turns out that I got mistaken for the girl in the middle at a party. She was the one. But because she was still in Virginia and I had moved away, when the rumors started, she just let them be to save herself some peace, right? Just a little tidbit on rumors there for you, man. People just make up some crazy, crazy stories. And dude, and that was like a year or so later, like 2 years later, that's still being brought up. That was being brought up, right? I declined the threesome. That is not my bag. Even if I was attracted to him, in the Aries, we don't really share well with others. Let's see. Ah, now that's the Marine, right? And that was at a wedding. I distinctly remember that he had this little group of friends, right? And his friend Ray was dating this woman. She was 36 years old. She was from Long Island, from a town near mine. From a town near mine. And yeah, we just got along really well. I mean, I was only like 19, 20 years old. She was 36, dating a 23-year-old Marine. I was dating a 23-year-old Marine, right? And that's the one who sent me the red robe that I wear. The grief robe, as I like to call it, right? Incredibly romantic. One of the most romantic things he ever did is and apparently it must have been a thing that he did with girls, but, oh, I met him online. I met him on hotornot.com. We both scored 10s at the time. And the most romantic thing he ever did was he snuck me onto the Paris Island base here in South Carolina. And he took me to the back of the airstrips to watch jets take off at night. Big, beautiful, clear night. Near the water, right? You can hear the waves and stuff like that. And you can watch these giant blue triangles of flames taking off into the night. We dated for about a year or so. And I don't know why we broke up, honestly. It got routine-y. I guess he got bored. I got bored too, though, so there's nothing to say. Like, it came down to it, and it was just like, it had gone 2 weekends in a row. He hadn't come to see me, and I was just like, you know, is this done? And he's like, yeah, I think it is done. I was like, good, you need to come get the fucking cat, right? And that was the end of that. Very, very strange. But that was all before life set in, right? After that, I got married to my first husband, popped out a couple of kids, spent 10 years with them, all in my 20s to 30s. Just grinding it out and trying to make it work, right? And we all do this. We all do this fun thing. Those of us who have been stuck in long-term toxic relationships, what do you do? What do you do? Why are you staying? You're staying. What? The kids, the routine, the whatever. You know? And it'll get on you because you'll look back and you'll be like, oh man, just how hard you grinded and how hard you tried to make shit work. And sometimes it doesn't work, right? And now I thought I could get past all that awkwardness when I got with my second husband. Figured he was like an Ian-esque character, right? Platonic male friend, had been since I was about 19 years old. And it was so awkward as shit. There was still issues and things that arose that were problems. It took a while to get past the awkward phase. Yeah. And that didn't work out either. But what am I gonna do, y'all? What are you gonna do? Just sit around forever? What? Never do anything ever again? You can't sit around and do that, right? I mean, think of all the breakups in your life and all the times that it should have killed you. Look at, you know, oh, I won't be able to survive without them. And look at y'all out there just all surviving and shit. Smoke up here. Anyway, I just thought that would be fun to share with y'all while I'm getting to this. Alright. Got 3D, 40, 5D down here. Basic collective reading for my Cards and Coffee crew. We get a story time, and then we'll get into the cards. And I don't know. Hopefully you guys like that I had something to actually talk about. Now this popped up twice. I put it back in because it popped out with the bear, and I've read the bear too many times, but then it popped out again. So here we go. 25-7, The Ring, Aladdin and the Lamp. Should have left the thingy up here so I could put the card for you to see it. Oh well. Keep me on focus. Alright, let's see what we got going on. 25, the lamp. The ring, I keep saying the lamp. The Ace of Rods. Ooh, the Ace of Clubs, right? A contract, obligation, legal document, duty, or engagement, right? Fix that now. For the ring, we turn to the tale of Aladdin and the magic lamp. Rather than a romantic icon in this system, this card stands for duty among other things. Here, the princess in Aladdin's tale has been forced to marry her obligation to her country. This marriage is duty-based event rather than one of the heart. Fortunately for her, Aladdin is contracted with the man he thinks is his uncle, but is an evil magician. Aladdin has been given the job of going into a magical cave. He finds the lamp but refuses to give it to the magician, who traps him. Aladdin is stuck until he rubs the lamp. The genie appears, granting Aladdin 3 wishes. With those wishes, he is able to marry the princess, turning the marriage contract into a love match. When the ring turns up, remember your duty and obligations. This can be a warning to pay attention to contracts that you have signed or are about to sign. Do not sign if there are warning cards nearby, like the clouds or the snakes. If you are smart, you can turn an unpleasant duty into something more meaningful, like Aladdin did. Alright. Definitely kind of rings a bell, right? How many of those relationships did you stay in out of duty and obligation, right? Alrighty, so what do we got down here? We got the 4 of Swords, recuperation in the cemetery here, right? We got the 2 of Wands, right? I like this one because the 2 of Wands, the main words for it are like progress and discovery. So with this, it's like kind of coming in between corporeal and incorporeal forms. You know, see how she's finding that balance? Right? Get the 9 of Cups, centering in self-love, right? We got the 4. I don't know if 44 is important, but we got the 4 of Pentacles here, right? And the 4 of Pentacles, let's see what we got. The 4 of Pentacles is a lot about stable and security. I like that she's playing the violin here because it's very much about trying to keep the harmony. And also, if you notice, she's kind of faded out at the bottom there too. She's almost very similar. These 3 almost look almost identical, right? Harmony, balance, finding that center in the middle, right? And then at the very end here, we got just peeking out into the sunshine out the window again with the 6 of Wands, victory, right? because the Six of Rods is the victory card, I always get a very sense of like the battle's over, survived, looking out the window, can be seen, right? All right, so that's the 3D. That's what's the visuals, the perceptions, the what people post to be, things of that nature. Let's get into the 4D. This is more of the telepathic communications, right? Because that's a lot very much focused on somebody focused very much on healing themselves and fixing themselves. So that's the main presentation of that person, right? Whatever energies you're working with. On the 4D, though, this is the telepathic communications. This is recently passed. When I say spirit guides on the 4D, spirit guides on the 4D are like either people you knew in life or people who knew you in life that are past, right? Those kind of angels, not, you know. And then the 5D are 5D archangels, Pleiadian, Nectorians, you know, all that higher up jazz, ancient ancestors that have a lot more power, things of that nature. So the 4D is a little bit toned down from that. It's more of what's more, and it kind of shows more of what the reality is of the 3D. Okay, so that's what's on the 3D, is a lot of 3D self-work, right? On the 4D, though, well, you got the King of Cups here, right? Gotta love him on the white horse in this deck, right? Carrying that cup of flowers, right? We got Judgment here, right? And I love the Judgment card because I read it a little bit differently. I don't like it so much as casting judgment, of just being mindful of who... Yeah, who deserves your attention? That's kind of the deal, right? For me, anyway, with the Judgment cards, is a lot of times you'll spend a lot of time giving somebody attention that doesn't deserve really any attention. The only reason you're giving them attention is either being guilt-tripped or goaded or things like that, right? But they don't really find anything in return. They don't praise you in return. There's none of that going on. You're just expected to constantly be the giver of the cups, right? And this card, for me, it's always like sharing that, bestow your energy on those who reciprocate and mirror it back to you, not those who just meh and do their own thing, right? I got the Six of Wands victory here in the middle again, right? In doing things like this, right? And this could even be mentioning to this, right? The King of Cups is someone who's very emotionally in control of themselves, but they are very loving in nature, right? But there is that mirroring energy where you can tell when you bestow energy on somebody and they return it, right? So there is some victory here. I got a King of Wands here. Look at this one. He's riding the Nightmare. See, this isn't even a unicorn. This is just a regular horse. This one's riding a nightmare about to jump a wall of flames, right? And why is this all going on? Because you're moving towards this one. 10 of Cups. And I love the 10 of Cups in this deck because what is it? It's two people, right? With the one cup, and they're pouring it, and it's just fountaining down into all the other cups. Yeah. It's very cute. I love how that's a full moon and everything too. Right? Alrighty. Alright, so on the 5D, whew, all upside down, so we can turn these all around. On the 5D, this is dealt towards your side, so let's see what we got going on. Like I said, we were all mirroring each other. We were all on very similar timelines, especially if you're over here at the tower. You're either on a similar timeline or you know people on these similar timelines, right? You can't be afraid to share your stuff, right? That's why I shared all my stories with y'all, because I figured some of y'all are going to relate to some of that, right? So, what do we got on the 5D? What does the 5D have to say for you? 10 of Pentacles. Right? 10 of Pentacles is the abundance card, right? It is wealth and establishment. It's establishing these things, and that is I feel what most people work for. What? It's not so much that the establishment of wealth that's important. It's the stability that comes with these things, right? I got the Hierophant here, right? Being very centered in your own thoughts, in your own introspections, in knowing who you are is very important. It's also very important to know what traditions and beliefs you hold dear to you, right? That's the center core of who you are. I see that in this, there is a lot of reminiscing about the past, right? Obviously, that's what we were just doing. And it's taking the good with the bad, right? Try to remember the good things about it. Like, okay, go all the way back to the beginning, that first boyfriend that I showed you. What? One of the memories that popped into my head today was we were outside my friend Katie's Sweet 16 birthday party at the Windmills on Long Island, which is a dining hall place, at this fountain in the back. There was a moon. I can't remember if it was full or not, and we had snuck out and we were dancing by the fountain by ourselves until our friends came to find us for a little bit. What? Take that with you. Take that with you. Don't take the breakup in the hallway at school and the crying to your guidance counselor. Don't carry that garbage with you. You know, you gotta... You're always going to do it. Like, I haven't found anybody who hasn't been able to not get away with doing this, right? You were programmed. It's part of your mental programming. You will always take from the past and project that forward, right? And you're going to do it one of two ways. You're either going to project the same bullshit over and over and over again because that's what you're obsessed about. That's where your memories are. That's what's locked into your brain. Nothing else, right? You just, oh, they're going to cheat on me. They're going to run around. They're going to be just like this last person was when it was bad. And then it happens over and over and over and over again. You're like, what's wrong with me? It's like, what? What? You're just looking for red flags. You're not looking for any of the green ones, right? Falling in love with somebody is never a mistake. You just need to remember why you fell in love with that person. Stop looking at who they transformed into. Remember who it was that you did love. Even if that person's not there anymore, that's who you loved. So that's what you want to look for, right? That's what you genuinely like in a partner. So what ends up happening is you will avoid that because you think automatically it's going to have to be tied to the negative stuff. And then that's exactly how you attract the negative stuff and how you project it back onto your timeline. I still got you guys with me? So if you're going to look back on the past, now this goes for your past relationships, and this goes back to your parents, to your grandparents, to your great-grandparents, to all the horror stories from your family that you've heard over your life, right? There is a very profound moment for me over the last few years, where I just remember I got over a sense whelm of emotion, and it was about my grandmother's mother, and it dropped me to my knees in the shower, and it was all they ever talk about were the bad times. All they ever talk about are the horror stories. All they ever talk about was the drinking and the abuse and the death and what, you know, and how she handled him dying and things like that and da 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 da. What nobody brings up is summer vacations at the beach bungalow at Jersey Shore and you know, making breakfast, how she taught everybody how to crochet, how she was the first person in the family to do yoga. You know, not a lot of that is ever brought up. It's always the bad stuff. And you know what I noticed is from the family members that bring up the bad stuff, they're living those timelines. The ones who bring up the good shit live in the good fucking timelines. All right. Next message. The Fool. Right? The Fool. Let's see, hold on there. Doesn't quite look like a lotus. You know what? It almost looks like a thistle there for a second. So we got the Fool. I don't know why I get the image of the Vision Quest here too. Oh man, I also got this damn thing with the Aquarion with the dog there. If you've never seen the show Aquarion, if you like anime, check it out. Anyways, It's got a whole thing with reincarnation and angels and everything else. So if you're into that kind of stuff, go for it. The Fool is about starting a new cycle, taking a new leap, changing things, recreating, right? And the universe does this to you one of two ways, right? You can either step off the edge, and I also get that saying, what if I fall? Oh, but darling, what if you fly, right? And that's kind of what a lot of us have always come on here and done for y'all. And it's always just been kind of like, come here, come here, come here, come here. Who started that? Chase. Or Case from Everyday Masters. Come here, come here. Look over the edge. Just look over the edge. Come here. No, I mean it. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Look, just look, just look. And as soon as you look, just push him over the edge. It's kind of what I feel like the universe is kind of starting to do to people. And it's a matter of you could take the leap of faith yourself or you could be pushed. But either way, it's going to depend on what you're focused on to what you will achieve. Are you truly the manifester? Now, I do got the leap here. And right after the leap, I do have some of this defensive energy, right? And now, the 9 of Rods can be perceived as being over defensive, but really it's about being persistent and resilient and setting healthy boundaries. This is about maintaining your healthy boundaries with people, right? Not allowing them to, whatever, not allowing them to mess with your head, not allowing them to invade your space. I've talked a lot this week on multiple readings about how you are allowed to ask for space. And when you do ask for space, when you are arguing with somebody and you say, hey, I am going to smother you to death with a fuck pillow if you don't shut up. So I'm going to go away for a while and go cool down. If that person follows you, that's the toxic fucking person. Right? If you say leave me alone and they don't leave you alone, it's because they know they're this close to knocking you out of character. And that's exactly their end game. Their end game was never to win that argument. That end game was to knock you out of character. Okay? So that's what I mean by you are allowed to maintain your healthy boundaries. And that is definitely whenever you're going into new cycles and new areas and things like that, and you genuinely want to make these real changes with yourself, you need to be able to maintain, you need to be able to set these healthy boundaries, expect for them to be maintained, and if they are not, you are allowed to tell people that is not okay. I don't care what your issues are. It is not my job to tiptoe and eggshell around your fucking problems. I asked for space. I deserve the space that I asked for. I also have my own issues that I'm allowed to go and deal with on my own if I want to. Right? See what I'm saying here? All right. Overall, and now these came out during the pre-show. Overall, from 3D all the way up to the very tippity top. 6 of Rods. There is major victory coming. Major victory coming, right? You got the Chariot. What? You're being pulled by fate and fortune into these directions, right? This is also the Mastery card of my other deck, right? It's about mastering your emotions and your energies and things like that and actually manifesting them into a positive direction, right? I thought that was a red cross there for a second. There's definitely a lot of healing energy that's been going on too. I like the balance of the light and the dark here. The moon's on his shoulders. But yeah. Listen to your intuition and listen to your own logic, right? You can say these are fate and fortune. You can also say these are logic and reason and intuition and faith. But they're balanced and they're pulling together in the same direction. Now, if your logic is pulling you in one direction, your intuition is pulling you into another direction, oh, well, you need to find that middle ground. Something's not right. Something's not right. If your intuition's pulling you in one direction, but your logic is saying, no, you need to figure it out. What? There's something not right. Your sleigh is not going to move. Your chariot is not going to move if they're pulling in different directions. They need to both be in the same direction. They both need to be certain that's the direction you're going in. Alrighty. Now, when I was talking about that 9 of Rods there, right? Oh, no, I thought this was Black Flower Fragrance. This isn't. This is Temple of My Body. All right, so we got Temple of My Body here. Right. This is a lot about healthy nutrition, what you're putting into your system, addictions, drugs, things of that nature, anything that's bad for you, smoking, things of that nature, right? You're a divine being here to channel divine energy, and you cannot do that within a toxic environment, right? Also, what I really get with this card and what I've picked up on over the last few years is there is a difference between fasting and anorexia. Let me say that again. There is a difference between fasting and anorexia. If you are a walking skeleton and you are about to do another 7-day water fast, honey bunny, no, you're sick. You need help. Your body needs nutrition. It needs it. It needs it. I'll say it again. It needs it. You need food. You need food. You will fucking die without food, okay? I'm sorry. Even if you look up breatharians and things like that, they still drink bone broth. They still eat vegetables. They still ingest food, right? Proper, healthy vegans take their protein supplements. Your body needs these things, right? You could take a tree. Think of it like a Christmas tree, right? You go and you cut down a Christmas tree and you bring it into your house. It's going to die unless it's sitting in water, and it's going to die eventually of just the water. Why? Because it needs more than that to just survive. It needs something to burn energy. It needs that. All right? It's a very important message. In the same sense, you got to watch out for eating too much processed, horrible for you crap that makes you feel bad after you eat it. What? It is important. It just is. All right, y'all. It just is. All right, y'all need to take care of yourselves out there. You can't expect to balance, like, now, especially for the ladies, we go through hormone fluctuations constantly. Like, that's never gonna change. Even when you hit menopause, it's gonna be a new way that your body's fucking with you, right? The healthier you are, the more focused, the more balanced you are, the easier it is to maintain through that stuff. The more you're eating crap or starving yourself or just not taking care of yourself in any way, shape, or form, the more unbalanced you will become. It's just how it is. All right? We got the creation here, right? And I love this. This is the yogi. Speaking of breatharians, right? These guys live on the bare minimum, but you'll even catch them. They'll eat things like bones, but they do eat things, right? They do ingest food. I also love that he's playing this horn on this card, right? So you get the yogi here, and he's playing this card, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I get the breath is the doorway between the physical and the spiritual realms, right? Breathing in, breathing out. You're taking in space and you're just breathing out space, right? And there's something within this dreamtime creation. And dreaming when you're asleep, that's probably the only time that you're naturally meditating on your own, right? And there's a whole embodiment of bringing this out into some kind of creation, right? There's definitely something that needs to be created, something that your energy needs to be kind of like reversed funneled, right? That's almost like a reverse funnel there, right? Needs to be funneled out into the world, needs to be brought into fruition, into creation, right? We got creativity once again, right? I love this mermaid card. This is the Intuitive Tarot deck. We got creativity. Speaking of creation, she's about to be creating. Actually, what did I do with her card? Damn, it's in one of my things. I'll find it. She's getting ready to make another deck again already. Speaking of bringing things from spirit into reality. This is what I'm talking about. How beautiful this is that she created this deck, right? It's time, and she's getting ready to create a new deck too, so it is time for some rebirth, for some renewal, right? A lot of us have felt like we have been burnt down to nothing but ashes and have nothing left, but that is exactly where you need to be in order for the phoenix to be reborn. All right. Should we get a couple deck of many things? Let's just see what the many things has to say. Any final words from the ether for us before we roll out? I've been on here for 40 minutes. Whew. All right. So I got the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Case in point, kept meeting guys at the bar. Relationship kept never working out. What? Stop meeting dudes at the bar. Try meeting them someplace else, like a painting gallery or something like that, right? I got, and if you're mad, get mad. Don't hold it all inside. That's a lot of, okay, yeah, you're mad. That doesn't give you permission to take that out on another person, but you are allowed to be mad, and you are allowed to go take space to process that, right? Anything else? I got no pictures of this guy, but this is definitely one of those. That on and off again, weird relationship awkwardness. One of the last messages that he sent me. One day we are going to melt the faces off the universe. Man. You know, just thinking about Thich Nhat Hanh, was the monk that I love so much that he just passed away recently. And it's like we all are one. We all are on such very similar storylines. We've all experienced such very similar things, yet completely different at the same time. It's that whole saying, it's like what? You're me if I was born as you. And I'm you if you had been born as me. All right, here we go. Confidence is silent. Insecurities are loud. I had a lot of prayers answered, not without sitting in a building. When the student is ready, the master appears. A true master knows when it is time to disappear. Yeah. I will say that is true. Because even melt the faces off the universe, right? So yeah, that was crazy, and that was an intense thing that happened to me, and that was someone who popped in and out of my life thanks to social media and the internet and everything else being able to reconnect us. But when it finally hit the point where we were both like, there's no matter what we're ever going to do, just never going to work, right? There's just never going to work. And as soon as we both let go, bam. New timelines just kicked into play. I like to say that he's happily married to his first wife again, and they just had a baby back last March. So, social media and lunatics like Luna. Luna is the ultimate social media stalker. That's her bag, man. That's her bag. She is the ultimate social media stalker. I'll get text messages about her being 10 pages deep into, I don't know, one of her friends, ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend's sister's page. Doesn't she look familiar to you? And look, we've been there. Be surprised, man. Be surprised. You can't put information out on the internet without expecting people to see it. And you never know who's managed to get into your stuff. Alright, that's all I got for y'all today. I love you guys very much. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and trippy ass paths with me. I will be back just as soon as I can. I promise. Let me get all this stuff out of the way. Oh, buttons and bells, y'all. Buttons and bells. Help a girl out.